All over the place.
Why don't we have time for that?
And actually, it's also a different site as well, to be honest. It's the Ministry of the Security Forces, and it's a different ticket.
Whoa.
Now, this really, to be honest, is only becoming a site that tourists have been going to. So Larry, if I get lost, it's okay. As long as we get lost, forget the Vinci, but that's all. If anybody wants an English map, there's one over here. And do you have that numbers on the floor map?
Can you fold that up or whatever?
If you give me any trouble, I'm going to have to leave you down here in the jailhouse.
The prison hall.
In the prison hall. There's not a lot of prisoners that you can share the gospel with. There's a bunch of tourists that come here today. So, this picture here, I think is from the 90s. And what you see here are the excavations that were done. Right above that was the prison cells, the modern prison cells, I guess you could say. The British prison, which was a Turkish prison, which was built on a Crusader building. And they started doing the excavations down below. Now, they had no idea what they're looking for. And something very interesting happened here. As they would start digging, they would start finding all kinds of material from the mid ages of the, I guess you could say, from the Ottoman Empire, and but very clearly after they cleared that off, suddenly they started finding material thousands of years back from the Bronze Age. And then the deeper they got, the more modern material they found. They found Bronze Age, and then they would go down, and then they would find Iron Age, and that it doesn't make sense at all, because usually in an archaeological dig, the deeper you go, the more ancient you get. And over here, the deeper they were going, the more modern they got. What is going on here? They could not understand until finally they understood that this isn't an archaeological dig, but what the Turkish did, they buried the city up. So they relocated material from surrounding mountains and hills around and buried that material, used that same material to bury the city. So as they started unclearing that, they noticed there's a whole city still built down below. A very, very massive Crusader city.
Muy grande.
And this would have been the jailhouse. And as you can see, it goes all the way back to the Phoenician period. The Iron Age, the early Bronze Age over here. Different time periods are here on the displays. What is that there? These are a bunch of pagan gods that you believe in. These are the persons that Patagonia.
So I imagine this was built by slaves mostly.
Yep. We're gonna come into these halls later.
Somebody had to do it.
But when you put it in the other year, you can hear. This would have been a street, actually. Now they got these columns, now it's a concrete support. So you can start cleaning out that material, get out to start getting rid of it.
Well, you know what, that's kind of like
We're over here.
This is beautiful hall. It's a beautiful hall and you'll never guess what it's called. The beautiful hall. Yeah, we're gonna go to the temple first. Hold up, guys. I think we're gonna go that way. This is easy to get lost under here. Let me show you the beautiful hall. You can see this.
Yeah, that's pretty one of them. I'll get turned around there.
I want to see this car.
Just the only group that I know there. He's not trying to control it. But I really get off some guys for hours. Don't have time for that.
Stand up.
It looks like it, yeah.
He went with
You can tell by the
Yeah, by the straight lines. Korean has a lot of boxes that look kind of almost like circles. And Japanese has,
We'll explore a lot, but don't worry.
it's hard to describe the difference. The way yeah,
Check
the way
this
they
out. Look at that
put
one over
the
there.
lines together, you see more pictures.
across the street. So one being a room, a rubber room with friends. They're driving crazy.
Okay, we'll go this way.
Hey, hi.
Sorry, brother. This would have been a church. We'll have to check that out. The underground croft. The burial service of our brother, the Grand Master of the Order of the Hospital, was held above our heads in the Church of St. John. Oh, that's why it's here. Alas, currently it is a very difficult to imagine the magnificent church. Its high vaulted ceiling and the standing marble floor. The priest. So, I'm going to find a way to get in there, Mom, but we will go around because it says do not enter.
Yeah, we're not going in. We're just being nosy.
We'll have to check that out. I know. In the Crusader period, they found the best-selling drug until this day. Who knows what I'm talking about? Sugar. There would be a big sugar industry. Here's another street, Southern Street. We're going to go around and come into this street once again because I want to go in that hidden tunnel. So the hidden tunnel is going to lead us here again. I'm not mistaken. And then we're going to come out through this hall once again.
Oh, wow. Are these the big pillars, Yoni?
Yeah. These are the ones I was talking about.
Wow. Big honkers.
See Harry, why it was so hard for them to destroy this city? Brothers and sisters, while we're here tonight, when I just came fresh out of night, I remember that I had this group and I was going to tell them everything I know about these Crusaders. And what I know is the truth. I talked to them about the Crusaders. I learned never tell Christian pilgrims the truth about the Crusaders. Come to find out that we might have a different image in our heads about Crusaders than what they were, especially what they were to Jews. And no, they weren't that positive at all. Overall, To be honest, it looks like that the Pope at that time, we're talking about the end of the 10th century, he saw an opportunity of bringing together the Eastern Church and the Western Church. By now they were divided. The Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox started to divide between the East and West. And the Eastern Church was suffering quite a bit from Muslim overrunning and getting closer and closer to the borders. At a certain time, there is a Muslim leader by the name of Al-Hakim Ba'amir Allah, and he destroys the Holy Sepulchre Church, which will be the trigger for the Crusader movement. So a pope by the name of Urban II in a city called Clermont in France, he puts out a call how we need to go and save the Holy Land, save the Christians who are suffering. And I think the main thing that motivated him was to unite both kingdoms under his rule as the leader. At that time, there was a few things going on in Europe that made this the perfect solution, what seemed to be, for the people of Europe. They were overpopulating the area, and there was a lot of people with nothing to do. And the Pope, what he did, he gave people a guarantee: if you go and help conquer the Holy Land, you're going to go straight to heaven. And everything you do on the way is all going to be forgotten. And if you leave a few shekels, you'll even get a sign saying you're going to heaven as well.
Oh, just pay an indulgence.
Goodness.
So actually there was a lot of response to his call. There was a very spontaneous response. A whole bunch of people was like, oh yeah, let's go save Jerusalem. A bunch of farmers and simple peasants and people that were like, okay, that's it, we're leaving. We're going to Jerusalem. And before they ever passed the Rhine River, they started understanding that it might take a while before we get to Jerusalem. They started asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because they left their village that they lived in their whole lives and started getting into unfamiliar territory while not even out of the borders of France. And then they learned, well, hold on. We can do God's work while we're here. There's a whole bunch of Christ killers, a whole bunch of Jews here, and we're going to have to finance this thing, come to find out anyhow. And they actually brought a lot of destruction on a whole bunch of Jewish communities. It was a Holocaust, to be honest. It was a Holocaust. Before the Nazis, whole communities were wiped off, choked, swords. They didn't have gas chambers back then. But the final result was the same, dead Jews, and they just plunged through Europe on their way to Israel. This was the first response before the Knights organized into armies. These were regular peasant people that were under the influence of the church, which wasn't so much pro-Jewish, come to find out.
What church was that?
That was the Catholics.
That was Pope Urban
Second, I think.
Second.
Yeah, Urban II in Clarence. By the time that these Jews make it to not these Jews, but this mob, after a lot of Jewish blood on their hands, make it to Constantinople, the eastern capital, unlike the western would be Rome. So the king, he sees, oh my gosh, these guys are here to help me. This is bad. This is not going to help me at all. And he really doesn't want to let them into the city. But he says, hey, thank you for coming. It's good to have you. We're all with you with the cause. Don't worry, we're going to have some ships waiting for you at the port. And we'll ship you over to the other side of the Bosphorus. And yeah, go save Jerusalem. More power to you. And sure enough, he just loads them up on these boats and takes them across the Bosphorus, where they would meet a professional army for the first time ever since they left their homes. And that meeting point, no one would be left standing on their feet. the minute they meet a professional army, the Seljuks just massacre all of them.
Who was the army that they met?
The Seljuk army, the
Oh.
Seljuk Muslim army.
Oh, and they were like a
They were
professional.
not, yeah.
Wow.
So none of them, I don't think, really survived to make it into Israel. Later on, some crusaders would organize together with a whole bunch of knights. Every army had this based on knights. Every knight had a horseman and a whole bunch of guys to support the knight, to keep him on the horse and be like bodyguards and servants of the knight. And they would go by land. And then they had the navies that would support them by sea, and they would make their way in a more secure way. Slowly but surely, they would make their way down Minor Asia. By the time they were done with Antioch, these knights were promised not only a get out of jail free card into heaven, but they also were promised a lot of money from all the wars and everything you can plunder on the way. Of course, you get that much. And by the time they were in Antioch, they didn't really want to continue to Israel. They were already comfortable. We're pretty good over here. Jerusalem, I don't really know if I want to make it all the way to Jerusalem, but some of the knights did want to make it to Jerusalem, and overall they would continue the Crusaders, and they would come to Israel. They would get Acre. The Muslims would do a big mistake by forsaking Jaffa, and by doing that it opens their way to Jerusalem. And when they come to Jerusalem, the Crusader Knights did something that nobody was able to do up until then. They united the Jews and the Muslims together, fighting to defend their
Neither
city.
of them wanted them there.
But by the time they came in, well, first of all, they went around the city 7 times with trumpets, but the walls didn't come tumbling down like it did for Jericho. But they had to lay siege. They had to lay siege to the city, and when they did break in, it was just a bloody slaughter. They killed everybody there: the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, because they were Arabian Christians and they did not recognize them, so they slaughtered them as well. And the Jews ran into their synagogue, but they were all surrounded and they burned them all.
But it's okay because they got a free go to heaven card. So.
But anyhow, they were able to sustain some kind of a kingdom here for about 100 years. Eventually, they were defeated at the Horns of Hittin on the 4th of July, 1187. So this would have been their dining room. I want to go check out that secret tunnel, and I think it's a one-way, so we'll have to do everything we did back. But I think it's worth it. Let's go check it out.
I distinguish.
At the time, it was the only part.
You're right. It was. There was not yet a Protestant.
Yeah, the Protestants hadn't
They
yet
had
made
it
it on
all
the
wrong.
scene.
Remember this being the secret tunnel. I want to check it out. Now, my mom, but I only remember she was claustrophobic when I heard them shouting.
That's good. Hi ho, hi ho, off to work we go. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho.
I can't hear that song.
Hi. Hi, Jose. there's a little bit of movement. It's like this tunnel is shape shifting.
Low ceiling. Yes, I have to duck for this one. Yeah. So go ahead of me a second. Let me get your picture.
Hey.
Don't go.
Shoot. Hey, look. Sorry. Hey, look.
I know, but I
another
was
call so
having a
I
hard
could
time
do
getting my
this.
phone open. Okay, I'm like this. It's typing.
Look, I don't have to worry. See? No problem.
The room that's got the 3 windows.
Yeah, all the Indian pictures.
Where are the yellows?
Right under that concrete building.
Oh.
Now this, they had these special stairways for the knights to go up the stairs with their horses, from what I understand. But all of this was all the way up to the 90s. Nobody knew about that this even existed. Over here. The latrine hall. Go ahead and take a picture of the latrine hall. The drain system in the hospital compound was highly advanced and was used to empty rainwater in the winter and drain sewage from the entire compound. So from what I understand, it was only drained out in the wintertime when it rained. And the rainy season here is from November to March. And from then on it doesn't rain. So everything that they would have done would have stayed here till November from March.
No thanks.
And 35 stone-made seats were found in the latrine hall, arranged in 4 rows. Lime was scattered on the floor, and the seats drained into a large hall of similar size that was built below them and paved with stone. Lime was scattered on the floor. Those using the latrines apparently attended to their personal hygiene by using grass and straw. Additional seats were found in the floor above. These were also drained through pipes that had been built into the walls and descended into the lower hall. Let's go to the bathroom.
My favorite type.
Does everybody use it?
Okay, well, I guess they're renovating the bathrooms here too. I guess you'd sit here and craft down below.
From Chinatown Time.
Yeah, there's a big hall down there. You gotta get your stick to get a picture down there. I don't think they've been used.
Just make sure to.
Epic Lander, come here.
Yeah.
Gotta go fishing, remember?
Kind of limited. I'll get out so others can get
These
in.
were stone toilets that were in the underground.
Come on, guys, let's go.
So, is that just one latrine back there, or was that the latrine for like the whole city?
It would have been a latrine for the whole compound. This is a hospitaler compound where they would train, where they would.
The people that were in this
The
area.
city would, the city people would.
That
live
was a
outside.
go-to destination.
Well, every guy has to know where that was. Okay, guys, we're going to go into these halls now. They have different presentations here. Sometimes they have artists here selling all kinds of knickknacks.
When we get outside, we just need your help with my backpack. I found my earphone.
Okay.
This here is Roman period. A little bit of the Roman period. Foundation.
Cannonballs?
Looks like this. How would you, like, would that be caterpillar?
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be gunpowder that would make these things move in the air.
Yeah, I think it was a catapult.
Oh, I see 3 holes. It must have been bowling balls.
There you go.
There's 3 holes.
Nephilim golem.
Nephilim bowling
Bowling.
balls. Okay, that is something new that I haven't heard yet.
Thank you,
Nephilim
Janine.
bowling balls. There is a funny story concerning these halls over here. They're called the Northern Halls, and they're right under the prison cells. And during the May Day period, one of the Jewish prisoners thought he was going to follow his way out of prison. And he was drinking he was making his way that way because he felt some kind of a breeze. I guess that little bitty window up there is what he felt. But thank God he was transferred before, because he would have just gotten lost. I can't imagine the energy that you would have to bury this place. I guess.
J girl.
Well, I guess the leader didn't have to worry about the energy. Just did it.
That's exactly what Don said. Like,
Slaves POWs.
Oh, here's some cabins, guys. These are good powder cabins.
Over here.
This way.
Martha.
Did you go up here?
yes.
Yeah.
By his uniform that he had, and he was laying dead here with his ribcage. He was identified by those buttons as a French soldier. Are we all here? Are we all here? We'll be making our way out.
Some people want another bathroom break.
We'll be going there. We'll be going to the bathrooms. I think they're on the way out.
Thank you, Brother Yoni.
Well, thank you for coming to Israel, brother. And I think we go out and we turn to
The special horse stairwell.
Yes, sir.
That was very interesting.
So we're going to turn left the minute we come out of the doorway. We're going to turn left and make our way back to the entrance of this of the Knights Hall. And over here we have some bathrooms we'll take advantage of before we continue.
Very interesting place. Do you know about what century that this part of Akko really began to get developed?
Well, it was, the major part of it would have been the Crusader period. I mean, a Hellenistic period as well. There's already a lot of